Have you ever walked into a room with the intention of getting something, gone through the doorway to get there, and then as soon as you arrive in the room, look around and completely forget why you were there in the first place? That's pretty common, and it doesn't mean you're losing your mind. Psychologists believe that passing through a doorway and entering a different room creates a mental block in the brain. This is generally referred to as the doorway effect. This effect is often multiplied when you get distracted during the process of walking into that room. If you arrive in the room and your phone buzzes, you check it, put it back down, and then you look around and completely forget why you were there in the first place. In a lot of ways, you could compare our screens and our digital devices to a doorway of sorts. When we open them, we're entering another dimension, stepping into this digital device with apps and data and information and notifications, and it's like we're going into a different space completely. Have you ever taken a picture that you wanted to post on Instagram, so you open the app, but then you get distracted by the feed, start scrolling down, and eventually just close the app without ever posting the photo that you had initially opened the app to do? Well, it's a lot like that. Instead of the doorway being in a physical world, we have this idea, this intention, and we're walking through a digital doorway. This is a major problem because not only does it waste time, but it means we're acting in a way that does not align with the intention we set out to do. We intend to give our attention to one thing, and then it gets stolen away and used for something else. If we don't own our attention, that means that we can't direct it in the ways that are most meaningful to us. And if we can't do that, it means we can't be aware of and create the types of change in our lives and the lives of others that we desire. So that's why it's essential to own your attention. And there's a really interesting way that you can improve this and do it better. But it comes from the Japanese railcar industry. At this point, I can practically hear you saying, Anthony, what are you talking about? Well, what I'm talking about is something called pointing and calling. It's a system used by the Japanese rail industry to reduce accidents and mistakes, and it works. A 1994 study on pointing and calling showed that it reduced errors on simple tasks by 85%. So what exactly is this and how does it work? Instead of just seeing something or thinking about something and doing it, you would point to that thing, call out what you're seeing, and then take action. If you're sitting at a red light in your car and the light turns green, you would point to the green light and say, green light. If you're checking your email or opening social media, you can call out what you're doing so that you don't get distracted by something new sitting in your email inbox. I'm going to find that email from Jeff. Now, as you might imagine, if you're going to the grocery store to buy ice cream and you point to the ice cream you want and loudly proclaim, I'm buying that ice cream, people might look at you a little funny. But there's something pretty magical about what's happening when you do that. The reason this practice works so well is because it's using something called co-action and co-reaction. It is aligning all of your external senses around your thoughts. You're aligning your eyes, your ears, your mouth, your hands, and your mind. It completely aligns everything you intend to do and what you do. You are saying what you're thinking, you're hearing what you're saying, you're pointing to what you're looking at, and you're looking at what you are pointing to. And in this way, it reinforces exactly the choice you want to make. It's so much harder to be impulsive and make a choice that doesn't align with what you believe in or what your intentions are if you're aligning all of these senses around it as well. Now, while I may be wrong, I believe I can safely assume that you're probably not a Japanese train conductor who would apply this in a direct and literal way. So I'm sure you're wondering, well, how does this apply to my day-to-day life when it comes to being more mindful, more intentional, and making better choices that align with the intention I actually set? Well, instead of getting up and just thinking about what you're going to get from another room or something you want out of the refrigerator, you can state it out loud on your way to go get it. That way, it will reinforce a few of those senses and help you not forget when you get there. This isn't just about not forgetting things either. As a busy entrepreneur, I find that I feel like I can never get enough done day to day. There's always more to do. And that's a feeling that can be a real struggle to deal with on a regular basis. So now I use pointing and calling to deal with this, and it helps a lot. At the end of every day, I hold my bullet journal, look at everything I got done, and say, I'm proud of the work that I got done today. It may be small, but just thinking it really doesn't let it settle in your mind, in your spirit. When you say it out loud and you touch the journal and you really just announce out loud that you're proud of what you got done today, it sits better. It feels more real because it's out in the open world instead of just bouncing around in your brain. If it comes to healthy choices like food or something else, you can make sure that you're not just making an impulsive choice by announcing out loud and pointing to it. I'm choosing to eat this ice cream right now because I really like to eat ice cream and I'm going to enjoy it, and I will not feel shame about eating it because I am choosing it actively. That's a big deal. When you start making active choices instead of just passively reacting to the feelings you have, to the discomforts you have, it's really a lot in line with breaking the twitch. I mean, that's why I talk about owning your attention. It really has to do with knowing that you're making the choice, owning the attention that you are giving to the things you choose, and living better because of it. If you're someone who, like me, has struggled to implement consistent habits earlier in your life, trust me, there is hope. I've been helping hundreds of people do exactly this through my work with the Break the Twitch member community. We have accountability, we have tools and resources and more, plus an amazing group of people who are all making substantial changes in their lives. So it's really up to you to take the first step. And you can do that at breakthetwitch.com/community. So who would have thought that the hottest new mindfulness practice would come from the railway industry? I sure did not. But it definitely works because I've been trying this for the last couple months and it makes a difference. So you have to try it yourself. Remember, you don't have to go full throttle when you're out in public and make a big scene. You can if you want because it would be pretty funny and probably be a good laugh for some of your friends. But you can really make this about you, implement this co-action and co-reaction concept in different ways, and really improve your life by aligning those intentions with your attention. Thank you so much for your attention, and I'll see you in the next one.